Live from the KWQC Broadcast Center in downtown Davenport with Morgan Otier and Kyle Keel. This is Quad Cities Live.
Today on the show, a block party with the Boys and Girls Clubs of the Mississippi Valley with food trucks, live music, and an auction. Details on the Blue Jeans for Blue Doors fundraiser.
And we're traveling billions of years back in time with Bespoke Sky meteorites. Stick with us for a look at these rare space rocks, including pieces of the moon, Mars, and even diamonds from ancient asteroids.
And later, shining a spotlight on one of the region's premier musical groups, the QC Wind Ensemble. Learn more about an upcoming celebration of music, culture, and community.
Hello and welcome to Quad Cities Live. Happy Friday.
Yes, here it is.
We made it to Friday. It is May 2nd. Thank you so much for joining us this afternoon. I'm Kyle Keel.
I'm Morgan Otier. May is Garden for Wildlife Month, and whether you have a sprawling backyard or a sunny balcony, your outdoor space has the power to make a real difference for pollinators, for birds, and other wildlife. Nina Struess is with Prairie Rivers Network, and she is joining us today. Nina, welcome back.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for being here today. This is a fun topic today. So first, tell us, what is National Garden for Wildlife Month? Why is it so important?
Yeah, well, we love being able to talk about how to certify your wildlife habitat and really kind of garden in a way that helps to support the pollinators. We know that there's a steady decline in pollinators like monarch butterflies, bees, and such, and they're incredibly important for our food supply, among many other various reasons. And so being able to take part in this initiative for this month is really kind of a great way to really take a look at your yard and see where you can make some improvements or just get started too.
Absolutely.
Definitely, and many of us will be getting started here very soon because Mother's Day, we always say, that's when it's safe to plant because we say goodbye to the frost. So talk about native plants. Why should we consider doing native plants? Because these really help those pollinators that we were just talking about.
Yeah, absolutely. So native plants are the plants that are really specific to this region that we're living in. And it's different, of course, depending on where you live. But native plants in general support our native pollinators too. So there are some plants called keystone plants. Those typically tend to support about 90% of some of our pollinators, like our butterflies, and then about 60% of our bee populations too. And so being able to plant those are really great as well. And not only that, they have stronger root structures. They're much better in terms of handling flood and water in your yard. And they're easy. Like they just come back year after year and they grow, and they're just so easy.
I feel like that would be just a huge point for a lot of people right there.
100%.
Yeah. Ease. I mean, let's not make it harder on ourselves, right? So this is the part that I really love about it. You say a balcony or even a few steps, outdoor steps, they can really support a habitat. I feel like that is super empowering for a lot of folks who think, I can't do that, I can't participate because I don't have the big, front or backyard.
Right. People get really overwhelmed and they think that they have to have this huge expansive yard where they have this prairie in there for, with just native plants, and you don't have to do that. If it's overwhelming, you can start with containers even. If you're going to do it, depending on the native plants you want to do, you do want to kind of have a larger vessel. As I mentioned, native plants tend to have larger root systems, so you definitely want them to be a little bit larger and deeper.
So that would be like this one that you brought here
and you
today.
could always start smaller and then, transplant with the ultimate goal of trying to find a place in your yard if you can. But if you don't have a yard, you're living in an apartment per se or something like that, then you at least still have a way to be able to participate. And there are obviously some plants that are better suited for containers, and so we have some of those resources available on our website. Not all native plants are best in containers.
Good to know.
All right, so you're wanting people to take a pledge to plant native plants and all these plants that are beneficial to our pollinators. So talk about this pledge and kind of what inspired it.
Yeah, so we wanted to really talk about this movement a little bit more at Prairie Rivers Network, and so it's the Wild and Free Lawn Pledge. So again, it's kind of really helping you to look at how you can plant some native plants within your yard. We're encouraging people to break up with their chemical lawn treatments. Those can be very, harmful not only to the pollinators, but to our pets, to ourselves as well, and our water supply. We're really wanting to take a look at how you look at your lawn. So maybe mowing less or not at all if you're able to. If you do have to mow maybe every 2 weeks.
2 weeks, really?
No longer than 4 or 5. So what that does is that really helps to support some of those natural flowers that come in. Dandelions, violets, like all of those that kind of have that ground cover ground cover
Yeah.
that provide flowers for those pollinators naturally.
Okay.
So you can still keep a manicured lawn, but again, it's going to have that.
Very interesting.
That is so interesting.
Yeah.
And you're saying all kinds of things I like here today, like plants that grow year after
Yeah.
year. Don't mow your lawn as often. That's really great to hear. And I think I love that you're here sharing that, because a lot of people would go, absolutely not. I mean, I have to mow my lawn
Yes.
and keep up.
I mean, my wife was just bringing that up. She's like, Kyle, if you're mowing week after week, these dandelions, I mean, they're very important for our environment. I think we oftentimes,
Rosalie.
Yes.
we oftentimes
Yeah.
forget that as well. So, yeah, I guess I'll have to not plan on mowing this weekend.
There you go. Absolutely.
Less work for me. Better for the environment.
Exactly, yeah.
Okay, so and if we are new to gardening with native plants, what are a few starter plants that you might recommend?
Oh, that's a really good question. And so one of the things I would recommend first is going and there's a really great little quiz that you can take on the National Wildlife Federation's website that tells you whether or not you're kind of at that place to get started. But they also have we also have some really great resources that talk about where you're planting in your yard. So it does depend on if you have a lot of sun, if you have a lot of shade.
Sure.
That's going to make that's going to be a deal breaker in terms of like what you want to plant where.
Yeah.
And then there are some resources on some great options too, just in terms of if you're wanting to support specific pollinators.
Okay.
Some of my favorites are purple coneflower. Like that's such an easy one that comes back year after year. I really love. I have golden Alexander in my yard. Milkweed is a really simple one too. So those are some easy starter ones.
Good.
There's so many plant sales, native plant sales that are coming up this month that you could easily go and talk to a lot of the professionals at those and say,
And
you
they
know,
can
this
help
is where I
you.
want to get
Yeah.
started, and they can
I
get
know the
you started.
Hauberg Estate does.
Yes,
A native plant sale. I think that's coming up pretty soon. Very cool. Okay, something else we want to talk about, aside from the pledge, is we can certify our gardens as wildlife habitats. What exactly does that involve, certifying our gardens?
Yeah, so it sounds really big
Yeah.
and overwhelming.
It does, yes.
But it's actually really not. It's as simple as committing to some of the things that we already talked about in the pledge, but also, you know, making sure that your yard has food, shelter, water, as well within it, which is really actually simple. If you're planting native plants, that kind of checks the box for each of those.
Sure.
We have a checklist that's available that you can reference and go through and figure out what works with that. And then you get to certify your wildlife habitat. It's $25 to certify. It's a one-time fee. You can choose whether or not you want to buy a sign. If you buy one of our co-branded signs, then part of the proceeds do go to support Prairie Rivers Network and the work that we do in that space as well. But it also is really nice, like if you're not mowing your yard as much or doing things within your yard that make it look messy, the sign helps to tell your neighbors that there's a purpose for that.
Yes,
and
I
help
agree.
spread the message.
Spread the message and spread awareness about why you're doing what you're doing.
Exactly.
Very cool. Well, as you heard, you can certify your yard by completing that checklist, uploading that information to the National Wildlife Federation's website. Again, 25% of your certification fee goes toward Prairie Rivers Network if you so choose, and their effort to protect pollinators. We've got that website at the bottom of your screen, nwf.org. Couldn't be easier. Nina, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks, Nina. We'll see you next time. Well, up next on QCL, space rocks older than our solar system, diamonds from ancient asteroids, even real pieces of the moon and Mars. Coming up after the break, find out how you can see and hold these incredible meteorites at a weekend event in Wilton.
You're watching Quad Cities Live.
Meteorites are more than just space rocks. They are messengers from the birth of our solar system. And there's a business called Bespoke Sky Meteorites based in Wilton, Iowa, with a reputation for rare and scientifically significant specimens. Grant Harkness is the owner of Bespoke Sky Meteorites and joins us now with details on a big event this weekend where we get a chance to hold a real piece of outer space in our hands. Grant, you know, we've talked to you here over the last 15 minutes or so. This man is a wealth of knowledge, so this should be a very interesting segment. So first, let's start where you got your knowledge and passion. I mean, this man is very passionate about this.
So my knowledge and passion in meteorites actually began when I started working with the Planetary Studies Foundation, and we were doing educational outreach throughout the world. So I've taught and lectured in over 19 countries, and meteorites have always been a part of that.
Okay, so we were talking before the show. Anytime that he talks about his job, people ask him, oh, you're into meteorology. And then anytime that, you know, I'm talking to people, they're like, well, you like weather, do you like space too? It doesn't work that way. You like the outer space, I like the atmosphere here. So for those who don't know, what is a meteorite? Because, you know, we hear of meteors, we hear of meteoroids, and there's a meteorite. So explain the difference between the three.
So a meteorite is actually essentially it's a leftover building block of our early solar system that's made it all the way through the atmosphere and landed here on Earth. So meteor is the streak in the sky that you see, and a meteorite is when that streak actually lands here on Earth and produces a specimen.
Okay, so just because we see a meteor in the sky with, you know, the tail, you know, the colors and the light, that's not a meteorite, that's a meteor.
Correct.
All right, makes sense. All right, so we described these meteorites as vessels of the early solar system. So why is this so significant?
So it's so significant because it actually allows scientists to explore far beyond the Earth without actually having to go there. So right here we have a specimen which is called a Diogenite, and this is Timimoon 002.
Okay.
And so this allows scientists to essentially travel all the way to the asteroid 4 Vesta and conduct meaningful science without actually having to go there.
Wow. Okay, so what is this one that we have right here?
So now this is actually an L6 melt breccia. It's currently under classification. And what this does is this is actually a capsule where it freezes in time, an incredibly violent event where you had this huge impact and you created a ton of friction areas that then melted and coalesced into this very beautiful specimen.
Wow, okay. This is, a lot of this is going over my head, but I mean, this is cool stuff. This is very cool stuff.
We really enjoy it. We really enjoy it here, and we always incorporate education into this.
Yeah.
So our event here in Wilton on Saturday, that is just as much education as it is sales. And we love to have people, even if you just want to come out and hold a piece of the moon, hold a piece of Mars, pick my brain, discuss what you love and what you're interested in, we're more than happy to accommodate.
Well, speaking of, I got to pick up a piece of the moon right here. So this is a piece of the moon.
That is correct.
So how did you all confirm this? How is this type of stuff, you know, you mentioned that you can touch a piece of Mars as well. How do we confirm that it's actually from the moon and from Mars?
So we conduct, through our research partners, isotopic analysis using what's called an electron microprobe. And with that, we can accurately discern, based on its isotopic signature, precisely where it comes from. So thanks to the Apollo era specimens, those specimens we're able to study and get a very unique signature that only appears on the moon. So when we recover specimens in Africa and so forth, we're actually able to definitively identify them as lunar in origin.
Okay, so let's talk about asteroids that contain tiny diamonds in them.
Tiny diamonds, right? Yeah. So we have meteorites that contain tiny diamonds. They're called Urulites.
Urulites, okay.
And so these Urulites are incredibly hard, very rare specimens. And in them, because of the processes that created them, they actually created tiny microdiamonds.
Okay.
And it really allows scientists an ability to explore incredibly extreme processes in the solar system. And again, we don't have to create laboratories where we have to duplicate these situations. We can actually study them in a rock. This is actually on its way to Yale.
It's on the way to Yale. So yeah, that brings me to my next point is that, you know, you're based in Wilton, but I mean, you're known globally. You work with a lot of institutions really across the world.
Yes, and we love our partnerships. It allows us to offer their patrons the ability to see and to hold very distant bodies, to engage with them in a way that you are not normally capable of doing. One of those is through when we do lunar observation, when we do astronomy outreach. It's far more impactful for students to be able to hold a piece of the moon, just like you did. Right. So we're able to have that experience, and it's really, really enriching.
Okay, so I'm going to be careful with everything that's up here because you have to handle these with care. So you pointed out this one in particular right here.
Yes.
That you normally handle with gloves. So what is that meteorite?
So that is a very, very famous meteorite called Murchison. Murchison fell in Australia. And what's really unique about Murchison is it actually contains amino acids.
Right, okay.
And the amino acids are the fundamental building blocks of life here on Earth. And these amino acids, there's over 90 that are identified inside of the Murchison specimen, and some of which actually share, humans share that same signature for amino acids, which is really unique.
That's mind-blowing to me.
So it's incredibly fun to be able to handle and to see these things.
Sure.
And just engage with them in a way that a lot of people don't get the opportunity to. That is one specimen that will be out on display in Wilton. Okay. And that allows, also, there are things inside of there called CAIs. And CAIs are actually older than the solar system. Older than the solar system? Indeed.
And I mean, you don't have to go into it, but I'm curious how you figured that part out as well. But you know, you mentioned that we've got the big citywide yard sale in Wilton this weekend. So I mean, if people can come and touch these things and learn about them.
For sure.
So what's it like in your experience to see these people touch things that are billions of years old?
It's so much fun because it appeals to kind of that childlike nature and interest that we all had. We've all looked up at the stars at night. Yeah. We've all enjoyed picking up a cool rock. Sure. And it really ties that all together. So people really have the opportunity to engage with something that's otherwise billions of years or billions of miles away.
Yeah, yeah.
And in some cases billions of years old. It's so much fun.
So do scientists specifically go out and look for these? I mean, because I feel like someone passing by, they see this on the ground and they probably just think, oh, this is a cool rock with a neat design. You know, how do you find these things?
Well, scientists actually do. There's a very famous ongoing scientific study called ANSMET, and ANSMET goes down to Antarctica every single year and they actively hunt for meteorites. But we actually partner, and a lot of scientists and institutions partner with nomadic tribes that are spread throughout Africa. And these nomadic tribes are incredibly skilled at finding these meteorites and bringing them out of the desert in otherwise very treacherous conditions that they're very accustomed to. And those specimens find their way into institutions, scientific analysis, and ultimately for sale as well.
All right, so where can people learn more about Bespoke Sky Meteorites and get in contact with you?
Absolutely. They can reach out to us on Facebook at Bespoke Sky Meteorites, and we also have our website, which is BespokeSkyVentures/meteorites.
All right, of course, you can talk to Grant and see all of these incredible meteorites at the Citywide Garage Sale in Wilton, Iowa. It runs from 8 a.m. until 2 o'clock tomorrow. It features various yard sales as well as art, craft, and retail vendors. And of course, if you want to contact Grant directly, as he mentioned, you can follow them on Facebook. And wow, this has been a very interesting few minutes. I learned a thing or two, and some things, you know, I still have to wrap my head around.
Well, it's been a pleasure. Thank you for having us.
Thank you, Grant.
Thank you.
Well, coming up on QCL, live music, food trucks, and a mission that's changing lives. We're giving you a sneak peek at the Blue Jeans for Blue Doors block party benefiting the Boys and Girls Clubs of the Mississippi Valley.
Quad Cities Live continues.
Get ready to trade in your suit and tie for a pair of jeans, and you'll be doing so for a great cause. The Boys and Girls Clubs of the Mississippi Valley gearing up for its second annual Blue Jeans for Blue Doors block party, an evening of live music, great food, and of course inspiring stories, all in support of local youth. Tori Smith is the CEO of the organization, and she is back in studio with us today with all of those details. Tori, thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Yes, this is exciting. So it's the second year that you are doing this event. We're going to get to all the good stuff in just a second, but first I want you to talk a little bit more about Boys and Girls Clubs of the Mississippi Valley for people that are kind of unfamiliar with all the great work that you guys do. So talk a little bit about that. Tell us about your mission.
Yes, our mission is to empower youth to reach their highest potential by providing safe spaces and transformative experiences.
Yeah.
We are a comprehensive youth development program. We serve ages 6 to 18 years old for after school and summer programming at the Moline Ontiveros Youth Center.
Wonderful, and it is a beautiful space. I remember seeing it a few years back. So talk about the programs, the services that you guys offer. So yes, it is after school, and yes, there's summer programming. So what are the kiddos doing when they're there?
Yeah, so they get there and they have time to kind of just chill after school.
Yeah.
And then they get a snack and they have some programming time and homework time and social rec time. We also feed them dinner. and then after that, they go home.
Yeah, it's nice. It's like a space that they can go to where they're not just kind of wandering around looking for something to do, and they not only get to relax, but they get to get some stuff done and socialize. It feels, as you mentioned when you talked about the mission, it is transformative for a lot of these kids, and you oftentimes take them from elementary school all the way through high school.
Yes.
Which is very special.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, very cool.
Yes.
Okay, so let's talk about this fun upcoming event, Blue Jeans for Blue Doors Block Party. It's coming up in just a couple of weeks on May 15th. So for participants, guests who show up to the party, what can they expect that evening?
Yeah, so we'll have some social networking time from 5 to 5:30, and then we'll do a short program at 5:30. We're gonna showcase our new mission video, so we're excited about that. So a club alumni will speak that night. Of course, I will speak, and then we'll just head outside and have a great time with live music and a band and food trucks, and we'll do the Champion of Hope Award. That's really exciting. There'll be a silent and live auction that night as well.
You guys have it all.
Yes.
I want to go back to the youth and the alumni speakers. Describe how important it is, especially for folks who show up, who buy tickets to go to this event, to hear those voices, to hear from those people, and how special that actually is.
Yeah, it's really special to hear from someone who grew up essentially in a Boys and Girls Clubs and the impact that it had on their life, whether it was locally here in the Quad Cities or in another community, just to hear how Boys and Girls Clubs had helped them when they were a child.
Truly, how it shaped them and just kind of their path and their direction. I mean, anybody with kids or anybody who works with kids know how important it is. You know, every single day really does matter, and you know what they're doing matters, and it is really cool to hear how important all of that was. And I think a lot of people are surprised too, like when you hear from different celebrities and things like that, how many people were part of Boys and Girls Clubs growing up, and now you see these people on TV screens and in movies and on basketball courts, and it had a huge part in shaping their future.
Absolutely.
So it is very special. You talked about the Champion of Hope Award.
Yes.
So I'm assuming you can't reveal that to me. I'm assuming that's a surprise at the event.
That's a surprise at the event.
Okay, so describe who or what this award is representing, and what kind of person are you giving this to, or what kind of entity?
Yeah, so it's awarded to an individual or a business that has shown commitment and dedication to our mission, also, you know, provided financial support, has volunteered at the club, is a leader in our community.
Yeah, okay. And last year's recipient, IH Mississippi Valley Credit Union. So it was a local business. We have that photo up on the screen right now. And not only are you going to have food, you are going to have live entertainment. So this truly does have a block party feel. You're going to have a band playing live at this?
Yes, Wicked Liz and the Belly Swirls will be playing.
They're great.
Yes.
They're fabulous. Food trucks, so there's going to be plenty of food. Okay, so for people that want to support, but may not necessarily be able to attend that evening on May 15th, what are some other ways that we as a community can make sure that we are supporting you all with Boys and Girls Clubs?
Yeah, so volunteers are a big part of our program. Like, we welcome volunteers in the capacity of being an academic mentor, you know, for a youth or a teen, you know, helping with study habits and homework and study skills and spelling tests and a variety of different things. I also welcome everyone to come see our facility. It's an amazing 2-story facility, you know, near downtown Moline, almost 19,000 square feet. Come, you know, visit us, to also accompany us in the summer on field trips. Like, we go lots of different places in the summer because we have them all day. So just, you know, another set of eyes on kiddos, and just interact with them and engage and have fun, be a positive mentor.
Yeah, it has to be incredibly fulfilling for the volunteers that you do have already.
Yes.
I can only imagine. Well, the Blue Jeans for Blue Doors event is set for Thursday, May 15th from 5 to 9 p.m. Again, it is held at the Ontiveros Youth Center located on 5th Avenue in Moline. To learn more, or of course purchase your tickets, visit bgcmv.org. Tori, thank you so much for coming on and just being a great spokesperson for this organization.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, of course, always. Well, still to come, folk dances from around the world and a concert that promises to move you. We're getting a sneak peek at the Quad City Wind Ensemble's upcoming performance. Plus, Empowering Abilities, an organization that gives those with disabilities a chance to find meaningful work along with spaces to grow and connect. Well, get ready to take a musical journey around the world without ever leaving the Quad Cities. How nice. The Quad City Wind Ensemble, one of the region's premier musical groups, is taking the stage for an upcoming concert, Music That Moves. You can see it Sunday, May 11th, so it's coming up at the Galvin Fine Arts Center at St. Ambrose University. And hear from the QC Wind Ensemble with more on what we can expect is Dr. Nicholas Enns, Director of Bands. Nick, welcome back.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yes, thank you so much for being here today. Okay, so tell us all about this upcoming concert, Music That Moves. What inspired the theme for this year?
That's a great question. Yeah, with this concert, I was looking for, kind of started out, I don't know, looking for, dance music, things that were like lively, something that was, really engaging with the audience. And so kind of centering on like different dances from around, kind of around the world.
Around the world.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Okay, so folk dance inspired music from several different countries from what it sounds like globally. So describe the lineup for us. I read a little bit about it. So United States is included. Well, we're from here. So, but no, really talk about maybe one or two of the other countries that you guys kind of pulled some themes from.
So I mean, from Mexico, there's a famous symphony by Arturo Marquez that we'll be playing the Danzo No. 2. Very lively. Has a lot of the stereotypical like Central American rhythms. Also we have our Armenian dance is a famous, which is a famous band piece, but of course from like Armenia, you have like different colors and sounds and rhythms kind of associated with it.
That's great. Armenia, England is I read is a part of it, so that's very cool. You are featuring a young soloist during this concert. Very exciting. So tell us about Ellison Kern and her performance.
Yes, we're really excited. Yeah, she is a senior at Davenport Central, and every year the Wind Ensemble has a solo competition where soloists from all over the region come in, and she was selected as the
oh my gosh.
The winner this year, and is a tuba player and a solid player, a great human being.
That's awesome. Well, how exciting. Very going student musicians in the area trying out for this. This must be just a really big deal, obviously for Ellison, but just anybody that's going after something so incredible and special. It must mean a lot. It's been fun like putting it together and working with her and her teacher. Yeah, very cool. Okay, so before we run out of time with you, talk a little bit more about the QC Ensemble, Wind Ensemble, and the organization in general. You guys have had and still have some really incredible musicians from around the region, won a lot of awards. So just tell us a little bit more about it and what the support of the community really means for the organization as well.
Yeah, it is a nonprofit organization. It was started in 1987 by Charles DeCamp. And made up of some of the top musicians of the region, and it is a wind ensemble, so it's not an orchestra. So there's no string sections. We do have a bass player, but woodwinds, brass, percussion.
That is very cool, and it's like we have such a great musical influence here in the Quad Cities, and we really covered all bases between orchestra and now wind ensemble. You're not going to miss out by any means. So the Music That Moves concert, it is coming up. So for people that are like, well, I've never gone to see one of these concerts before, how would you encourage them to kind of just step out and support the wind ensemble? And because every year we hear rave reviews about what a wonderful job the organization does.
Yeah, I think the easiest thing to do is just come. It's a fun musical experience. Not only is there music, but John Hager, the building manager at St. Ambrose, has a nice spread of popcorn and wine and beer and pop time. And it is a full experience. It's not just music. Yeah.
It's a fabulous time. Music That Moves concert is Sunday, May 11th at 3 p.m. at the Galvin Fine Arts Center at St. Ambrose. Tickets are just $10, and there's free admission for students and music teachers, so please show up. And to learn more about the QC Wind Ensemble and stay up to date on future performances, visit qcwindensemble.org. Dr. Nicholas Enns, thank you so much for joining us today. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yes, absolutely. Still to come on QCL, creating opportunities for individuals with disabilities to succeed, grow, and achieve. Empowering Abilities will share more on the organization's mission next.
watching Quad Cities Live.
Providing an environment that inspires a positive impact and enriches the lives of people with disabilities. We're talking about Empowering Abilities, an important local organization with compassionate staff members. Amber Wood is one of them with Empowering Abilities and joins us now. Amber, welcome back.
Thank you so much. Great to be here.
Yes, thank you so much for being here today. First, let's just give everybody that's watching today a little bit of background on Empowering Abilities. You know, who is this organization and what do you do?
So yeah, Empowering Abilities is a not-for-profit organization here serving mostly Scott County individuals with disabilities, really providing them opportunities to grow and thrive. We have a continuum of care of services, everything from day services where individuals come and join us at either our Brady Street or our Hickory Grove Road locations where they get to grow and learn, and they do engaging opportunities and activities throughout the day. They do community field trips and really have an opportunity to, you know, grow and learn. Yeah. We also have residential services, everything from community-based supports where no matter where individuals with disabilities choose to live, we have services that they can provide. So whether they're living at home or if they choose to live in an apartment with roommates, our Endeavor Living program can help to support them in that helping with daily living skills, whether it's going to the grocery store or cooking dinner or just navigating the community, going to the bowling alley or doing other fun activities out and about on the weekends and whatnot. Yeah. And then we have our residential center, which is home to 55 to 60 individuals, really with access to 24-hour nursing care, round-the-clock services to, again, help them to thrive and be successful. And then we have 3 group homes also. With that, each of them can house up to 8 individuals. Again, really trying to make them just feel part of the community. So our work is really about how do we make individuals or help them to feel like part of that community, whether it's earning a paycheck or just being out and about in the area. Our last program, really, and not to be the least, is definitely our employment services. Oh, yeah. So we work with community employment opportunities where we help individuals with everything from creating a resume to applying for that job, going to and prepping for interviews, to really being successful in their position once they get hired. And then we also have our enterprise services where we hire associates within our own facilities to help with packing and other activities within our warehouse. And that is another great way that we can partner with organizations, whether they're businesses in the area that might need packaging or labeling or rework. We have a number of different ways that we can partner and always are looking for more partners to join us.
Wow. Okay. So you just really went over a lot of all the really great things that you all do at Empowering Abilities. Talk a little bit about how meaningful it is to these individuals, the independence that, you know, you're able to create within them. I feel like the sense of confidence too that they may not otherwise be experiencing without you.
That's a great point, Morgan. I'll tell you, you know, so many times, like the opportunity to earn a paycheck for being rewarded for the work that they're doing is such a huge piece. We talked a little bit about some of our contract cleaning crews and really being able to like take pride in the end of the day to know that they've done something that really is helping another business thrive. And our participants are just so proud of that. They want to share it with everyone. And so it's just an incredible opportunity to be able to empower these individuals to thrive in our community and to have meaningful work to do that.
Oh, it's so great. And here at TV6, we're one of them that has a really great a crew from Empowering Abilities that helps us clean up several times a week. And we just love seeing them all so much. We've grown so close to them. I mean, a couple of them, like Donald is the one that I keep, you know, picturing is they, you know, crack jokes. They come up to our desk. He gives Kyle a hard time about the weather every time we have bad weather. So, I mean, yeah, it's the relationships that you're able to build that you may not otherwise. We may not otherwise know these folks if you know, they didn't get to go through this whole program and with you, with Empowering Abilities. So it really is great. You talked a little bit about the production facility. So that's another one I want to talk about this because they're doing screen printing, correct?
Yes, we do have screen print and embroidery services that are available, and it can be a full service opportunity whether you need a small quantity of shirts or you need enough to do a bulk order. And we also do web stores, so organizations don't have to deal with collecting money and that kind of thing. They can actually just set up that web store and allow individuals to order, and we'll take care of all of the ordering pieces, and then Our associates are the ones doing the quality work. Like I'm wearing one of the examples today, but we do also do embroidery services on a variety of different types of items as well. So
well, that's great. And we actually just had recently an organization come in that is putting together like a 5K race and with Empowering Abilities, and you know they're in charge of doing the T-shirts that everybody is going to be getting for signing up for said race. So that is just such a wonderful thing, and something I'm sure all those folks are really proud of being a part of.
Definitely. And you know, one of the great things is that because of that great work, we were selected as one of the Locals Level's top 5 screen print organizations in the community. So with great pride that our associates are really being able to thrive in that way.
Absolutely. And before we let you go, you know, this does seem like such a fulfilling place to be and a fulfilling place to work at. And you do have employment opportunities for people, actually all different kinds of employment opportunities.
Yes. So within our community-based community supported services, we have lots of opportunities, whether that be RNs or LPNs within our programs. We also have community supports that are, you know, mentors within classrooms or within residential settings. So there's lots of great ways that they can give back as employees to really partner alongside of these individuals with disabilities. So if you visit our website and go under the Join Our Team tab, you can see all the listings there with their rates of pay, or you can even find us on Indeed.com as well.
Wonderful. Well, that website is there on the screen for everybody. Many of the staff members, as I've heard in the past, have been there for decades, so you know what a meaningful thing it is for everybody. And if you want to join the team over at Empowering Abilities, or if you just want to learn more about the variety of services available, visit them on the web at empoweringabilities.org. Amber, well done. Thank you so much for being here
Thanks,
today.
Morgan. Glad to be here.
Thank you.
Coming up, it's time for our Wins of the Week, including a special tour of the TV station for a possible future meteorologist. That's next.
On the next Quad Cities Live, we're celebrating National Travel and Tourism Week. Join us as we profile local and regional places of interest, great for individuals, couples, and families. We'll have ideas for day trips, weekend getaways, and much more Monday at 3 right here on Quad Cities Live.
Well, it's Friday, which means it's time for our Wins of the Week. Hey, we got a new little song.
Nice little music going on with it.
Jam going on there.
I wasn't in there.
I mentioned that to Morgan before the show. Like, you got to get Eric in there.
That's all right.
That's a fail. It's a fail of the week. So, Kyle, we teased yours a little bit before the break, but what's your win of the week?
Yeah, so I had a little job shadow in earlier this week. This is Ariana. She's in 8th grade, and I actually worked with her mom way back when at Checkers. So we flipped burgers together.
That's awesome.
And she reached out to me a few weeks ago, and she was like, hey, my daughter is super, super interested in weather, wants to be a meteorologist. And I tell you what, she had, of course, a lot of fun at the green screen. We took a green cloth and showed her how that works.
All right.
But I was very surprised about her questions. I mean, she's very, very much into weather, already has good knowledge of it. She actually did learn a thing or two from me and Teresa. So it was a pleasure to meet her and catch up with her mom as well. So there we are with the green screen. So that's why
we love that.
Green.
Us non-weather folks just dazzled every time you bring that out.
It always makes an impact when a small child or a school student comes in and asks insightful questions and engaging questions. It really makes me think that, wow, they really stand out.
Yeah, it does. And her mom texted me afterwards, and she was like, I think she's even more into weather now. So I feel like I made a difference.
That's awesome. Yeah, very cool. And it was nice meeting her. She's very sweet.
She was.
Eric, what is your win of the week?
Well, you know, I do a lot of lawn projects and house projects, and what I've been waiting to do for about 4 years was to put up my LEDs in the patio. Yeah. So as we go through the pictures, you kind of get the effect with the multiple colors there. But it just makes fire pit time a little bit more interesting.
That is awesome.
And it makes my house like one of the coolest in the neighborhood, right?
That is pretty cool.
Yeah, you definitely win.
So the neighbors peek through and say, oh yeah, Maitland's having a fire again. And there go the LEDs.
That is fun. So those stay on year round?
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah,
and we had somebody in talking about that.
That's a good point because they really look cool and it's got snow on the ground and everything.
I'm sure.
Don't ever have to get up there. You just keep them up there. I love that. My win of the week, actually, this is probably the second time I've used this. It's from QCL Book Club. I'm still going strong with our QCL Book Club. I'm sure Brittany Peacock from the Davenport Library will be here soon. So I already finished our April book. like a month ago. And I finished May's book this week.
They must be good.
This one. Yeah, so I've just like, I don't know what happened, like the new year hit and I got like the bug for just getting in bed every night and reading a book.
That's good.
And so I've been kind of flying through our QCL book club books. So yeah, just a quick little plug and reminder for people to pay attention to what we're reading and read with us, because we love to talk about it and we love to hear from people. Yeah. We read their comments on the show.
And I'm intrigued. Why will this summer be different?
I can't tell you
Tell
that.
us.
I can't tell you that. The whole plot of the book. All right. Thank you so much for watching.
News at 4 with Kate Kopatich coming up next. Have a great evening.